So let's talk about 50 Weeks of Green. When I first heard that 50 Shades of Grey had outsold the Harry Potter series, as a food evangelist, I thought, I've got to figure out, this is somebody who knows how to spread a message. So I went online and I looked up the first chapter and I read the first chapter. I was shocked. I was shocked. As I read it, read more, now I know you probably all just read it for pop culture research. But who here has read 50 Shades of Grey? A little bit. Okay, so that's one person who's going to admit it. Look at that. The rest of you are liars. Everybody in the country's read that. I know at least half of you have read it. But I read it, and here's what I found. The woman, she goes to see this fabulous billionaire, and he's in this big tower. She goes in, and she literally falls into his office. And his office manager is mean to the assistant who's there. She's got a little intern, and the intern is scuttling around, and she's concerned. And now Anna starts interviewing this guy because she's there to step in for her sick friend. And she's doing this interview with no preparation whatsoever. But pretty soon she's got this guy confessing, why yes, I really like control. I have some fabulous, expensive, and enriching hobbies. And I have a company where if I closed it down, I am proud of the fact that 20,000 people would be trying to pay their mortgages in a month. And he's glorying in it. This is how he thinks he's a really great guy. She loves this. She's lapping it up. She says, you sound like the ultimate consumer. He says, I am. And I thought, there it is. I've met the enemy. These are the people I've been fighting for years. I've been trying to get people to live a sustainable life, to have a smaller carbon footprint, and to live in touch with nature. These are the opposite people. So I had to read more. So I bought it, and I read it. And here's what I found. Disgusting, terrible behavior, some of it illegal. I mean, it's really something to look at it. What's in this book? There's conspicuous consumption. There's brutality to employees, rudeness, and sometimes physical violence. There's even nepotism. I was shocked. So I thought, well, I have to write a response. I want to write a response that really answers this, one that uses mature, ripe women who, they're not these pale, wan, easy to push along virgins that is in this other book. These are people with some flavor to them. And that's where 50 Weeks of Green comes from. So I want to read you just how my book starts. This is a response to 50 Shades of Grey. The first box. I grimace at myself in the mirror as I cram a dusty hiking hat over my cascade of curly black hair. Damn Saturdays, damn my Italian ancestors, and damn Charlotte Conover for sticking me with her CSA box today. Just because the keynote speaker for some foodie festival canceled at the last minute and she had to fly to San Francisco was no reason to stick me with a box of arugula and beets. Please, Sophia, she'd crooned, don't let all those organic vegetables rot on a shelf somewhere. They need to get out. And so do you. I fight through the Christmas traffic to the mall. They've put up a huge Christmas tree under the underground parking entrance. How odd to drive beneath a huge tree, park next to a Target, and then ride an escalator to the farmer's market. I grab the reusable box from last week's order and curse again as the wind sweeps receipts for my farewell expense report under nearby cars. I grab up the papers I can find, resettle my hat, and ride up to the square. Blinking in the bright sunlight, I scan the red and green banners with all the hopeful, helpful names. Bah, humbug. The economy's in the toilet, the planet is heating up, and I haven't gotten laid in forever. Not since IBM summoned Kenny back to East Fishkill to help with that super chip. Why couldn't Charlotte just skip the kumbaya and thaw frozen blocks of food like everybody else? Thank you. But she was my roommate at NC State and had been my best friend for nearly 30 years. She rescued me from so many jams that the least I could do was rescue her pet produce. I finally spot a table heaped with boxes marked Bee's Knees Farm. I push my way past the tangle of adults yakking on cell phones, their holiday-frenzied children, and bulky cloth bags of potatoes clogging the sidewalk in front of the farm stands. Some farmers were already taking down their displays, so I try to pick up my pace without seeming like a Grinch. Even Farmer B, or whatever he calls himself, has his back to the crowd, reaching up to take down a chalkboard hawking this week's offerings. His flannel shirt strains against a back rippling with muscles, coming out of his work-worn jeans just enough to give a glimpse of bare hip and waist. He is lean and sleek, like an otter, or one of the boys I used to frolic with back when Charlotte and I were wild young things, bent on exploring the wonders of our co-ed dorm. Hadn't I heard on NPR just last week that most farmers were over 50 and getting older every season? "Thank you so much for donating to Help for the Hungry," a perky voice practically squeals behind me. As I turn to look at the squeaky blonde, I step between a corgi and his master, getting tangled up in the leash. Bam! I'm down on my hands and knees. The corgi's person apologizes as the blonde volunteer bends to help me up. I bite back yet another curse, knees and spirit stinging. What a week! First the senator dumps me, and now I dump myself. Palms still on the pavement, I see well-worn work boots in front of me. I rise slowly, cheeks blazing with embarrassment, and a hot flash working its way up across my chest and down my spine. I look straight ahead to avoid the stares of the curious crowd, but also to enjoy the way the well-used denim drapes over the strong thighs and lean hips. Didn't Wendell Berry write something about "our bodies live by farming, we come from the earth and go back to it," drawls Farmer B. His voice reminds me of James Taylor. Maybe he grew up in Chapel Hill like the singer did. "You okay down there, sugar?" I gasp as I meet his eyes. He's no kid, but just built like one. His short black hair is streaked with silver at the temples. Smile lines show he's 50-something, but had a good time getting there. His deep green eyes hold mine a little longer than is comfortable, but maybe he's just worried I'll sue him. "It's Sophia, not Sugar. I'm here for Charlotte Conover's box," I managed to say. "Am I too late?" "No, Sophia, you're fine. Just fine," he says, looking me up and down. "Sure you're not hurt? Maybe you shouldn't wear Lady Gaga platforms when you come out here to the wilderness." "It was the dog, not the shoes, and these are more Katy Perry than Gaga. Practically sensible, given that we're in a mall." "Okay, ruin my pastoral illusions. I'm Roger Branch, in charge of the agriculture that your friend Charlotte is supporting." He slides the last box on the table towards me. "Here's her share for the week with lots of greens and roots. I've even tucked in the last jar of honey for the year." "I hope I can figure out what to do with all these leafy things while she's out of town," I say. The open box fills me with vague dread. "What's this?" I pick up what looks like a very long, thick white carrot with a wild spray of rough leaves at the end. So, you see, there's a lot of food in here and a little bit of romance.